Alrighty guys, so we're now going to be going through our hip flexor stretch. Now, the most important thing here is understanding a posterior and anterior tilt with the hips. So, what we want to make sure we're doing is a posterior tilt, and that's when we're tilting the hips to the back. So top of the hip gets tilted towards the back. So that's a posterior tilt. The opposite is an anterior. When we move into this position, now you see this probably looks quite weird. This is what we want to avoid all the time, anterior tilt. So we come forward into that posterior tilt. Now from here, we come up onto the back of the toes, bring that knee forward. Now, common misconception here is we need to come forward into that deep lunge to stretch the hip flexor. Wrong. All we need to do is stay in this nice upright position, come into our posterior tilt, squeeze our glutes, and really lock on. We're just trying to push those hips forward and keep tilting forward or into that posterior tilt. You can slightly increase with just a little bit of movement, but as we go into that posterior tilt, that is going to feel our hip flexor start to stretch. Now, if you're doing this hip flexor stretch, squeezing that glute as tight as you can, you're in that posterior tilt, and there's not much of a stretch, we can then progress into our couch stretch, which is in one of our other videos. So that's the progression. But this is how we start with the regression, which is our hip flexor stretch.